Welcome back to my shop. My name is Guy, and today I'm going to show you how I made this mobile tool cart assembly table. It has a torsion box top and enough room to hold 18 Systainers and also my vac pump and some other accessories. This of course can be modified to hold drawers or shelves if you like, and I've left a link below in the description to download a SketchUp file, a cut list, and a plywood layout. At the end of this video I do have a question to ask and I really need your input, so let's get to work. I've got a piece of plywood up on my cutting table along with my track saw and a cut list. First thing I need to work on is the frames at both the top and the bottom, and also the internal braces that go vertically on the inside. I need to cut all those off the pieces of 3 sheets of plywood off the bottom. Now these 3 panels are the vertical dividers that go in the center of the assembly cabinet. So this is what the bottom and top frame is going to look like. I'm off the edge of my table here. There's another piece that goes on right here like this. This is all going to be held together with dominoes, so I just need to start cutting those and then we'll do a glue up. I'm starting to put the dominoes in for these vertical partitions that are going to go between these partitions here. And since these two are going to be matching up, I need to offset the dominoes on each side. So I've marked them out A1, 2, B1, B2. You get the idea here. It's just really important that on B and C I put dominoes on both sides, and on A and D only one side, because this is going to be empty up here. I'm going to put adjustable shelves over here. So I just need to continue to do this, and then when I get these dominoes done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this up in 3 sections. This section here, this section here, and this section here. And after those are dry, then I'll put them all together and make one section and then glue it to the bottom and the top. It's going to take some time. Those are the 3 sub-assemblies all glued up. They came out really nice, very square. I'm just going to let these sit over tonight and then I'll continue tomorrow. Well, the sub-assemblies are out of the clamps, and I'm going to take this opportunity to put some edge banding on the areas where it's needed. Now I've got the edge banding on where I need to have it, I'm going to go ahead and glue up the sub-assemblies. I'm going to glue up 2 pieces at a time, let it sit for a little bit, and then glue up all 4 pieces at once. It's going to make for a much easier glue up because this is a big glue up. Well, that was interesting. So everything is square. So I'm going to let this sit in the clamps for probably an hour or so before I attempt to do the other one. I've got the internals all glued up, and right now it's sitting on what I think is the flattest spot on my garage floor, which is not flat at all, but it's close. So I need to put some dominoes in here, and I'm going to put the top frame on and then screw it down. So I've got some drop cloths down. I'm getting ready to paint this piece. I'm going to spray it. I've got a new Fuji Q3 Platinum sprayer. It's awesome, very quiet, very powerful. As you can see, I've made some test sprays on a piece of cardboard here, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this done. Well, I'm adding the drawer slides to this. The first ones are going to get put on. There's going to get a set put on at the bottom. And then for the different size Systainers I've got going up here, I've got some different blocks. Systainer on number 3, number 2, 4, 1, so forth and so on. I've also got mapped out exactly what the spacing of those is going to be. So I need to put the first one on, and then this next one is going to be a number 4 spacing. So that'll go up on top of there, and then I'll put a slide on top of that. All the drawer slides are on the cabinet itself. I just need to attach the other part to the shelves, put them in place, and put my Systainers in. I've got some 1/2-inch MDF over there, and those are the skins. Those will be the bottom and the top. These 2x4s are going to give me a surface to level this entire top, make sure it's flat and there's no twist. So I need to get to work putting these on there and putting shims underneath them to get it all perfectly flat. So I've placed the cart where it's going to live, and I've put the beams on top, and then I've shimmed all the beams underneath. So I am perfectly level all the way around, and any one of these beams that are here, I can't get a playing card underneath here, and that's close enough for me. So next thing I need to do is I need to get the first skin on here, and then I need to re-level it and make sure nothing is moved after I've done that. I've got the piece of MDF on here, which is the bottom skin, and I'm still nice and level. I was pretty light. I didn't move anything. And the main tell that I'm flat is I'm going to take this playing card, I'm going to run up against this edge. I've already done this in various spots throughout this table, and the card won't go underneath. And like I said, that is plenty flat enough for me. So the next step is to start building up the grid on top of this to support the second skin. Well, I got all the inside parts, which are going to be made out of MDF, all cut down its final width, which in my case is 1 5/8 inches. Wish I could have made them a little bit taller, but I can't. I'm going to be gluing everything together, and wood glue on edge grain or on the edges of MDF does not work very well. So I'm going to be sizing the edges of this. And that's pretty simple. All I'm going to do is mix a 50-50 mix of wood glue and water. If I can get the thing open. There we go. And brushing it on and letting it dry, and I'll do both sides. I've got all the cross members of the grid in for the torsion box, and I had to shim it in a few places to get it nice and flat, but it is nice and flat. I'm going to put some glue on this and then put the other piece of 1/2 inch MDF on it. This is actually going to be the bottom that goes on the top here for now. But I just need to glue it on, and then I'm going to put some nails in it and let it sit overnight. Well, it's the next morning. I've re-leveled everything. I flipped this over, and I've spent the last maybe 45 minutes or so just making sure there's no low spots or high spots on anything. And I've gotten rid of some of those high spots that I found with the block plane on the MDF. So with that being said, what I need to do now is get some glue on this, get the top skin down on it, and get it secured. Well, the top is down, and say it's a pretty good success. I can't get a playing card underneath any of these areas on the table, so that's good. I'm not going to put any fasteners in. I'm just going to let the glue do its work. So I've got the piece flipped back over after I trimmed the edges all up, and I've had to put some wedges in here. Now when I put this thing in position, this whole case twisted like this. This corner went down a 1/2 inch, that corner went up about 1/2 inch. So there's some shims underneath here, they're all the way around the edges, and they're underneath also to prevent it from dipping. So I've checked just about everything, and this playing card will not go under this straight edge. Playing card's about 0.010 of an inch. I'm not going to get out feeler gauges. I think that's a little bit silly. I've also used some winding sticks here, and there's no twist to it, so I'm good. I'm going to take some screws. I'm going to drill some holes up underneath in the corners and in the midpoints and secure this down. Well, it took about 15 minutes and all the edging is nice and flat to the tabletop. Well, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Having a nice large area to assemble a project is a must-have in any shop. And the added bonus of storing a massive amount of tools on a mobile cart really sets this assembly table apart. Now, I do have a question. On my old table, I used shellac and then wax over it, and it worked fairly well. But I'd really like to hear suggestions. So please leave a comment down below, and I do read all my comments. And when I make a decision, I'll do a post on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.